Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into a highly documented, incredibly fascinating American life. We're going to trace the evolution of Donald Trump, literally from a local builder in Queens all the way up to the 2016 Republican presidential nomination. Based entirely on the historical record, we'll examine the business maneuvers, the media pivots, and the political steps that paved this totally unprecedented path.
So, here is our roadmap for today. 1. Early life and education. 2. The Manhattan real estate mogul. 3. Financial hurdles and reality TV. And 4. The 2016 presidential campaign. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. Early life and education. The foundations in Queens and beyond. Born in 1946, Trump grew up watching his dad, Fred, successfully build middle-income apartments out in the outer boroughs of New York. But Trump, he was known for being super energetic, assertive even. In fact, he was so energetic that his parents actually sent him to the New York Military Academy just to channel it all. And, it worked. He thrived there, graduating as a star athlete and student leader in 1964. After a brief stint at Fordham University, he transferred over to the prestigious Wharton School of Finance, where he graduated with an economics degree in 1968. Now, if there is one key takeaway from his early career, it's that he absolutely refused to just maintain the status quo. When he joined his father's outer borough company, Elizabeth Trump & Son, he was looking at fiercely competitive markets with incredibly narrow profit margins. So his solution? Aggressive leverage. He actually convinced his father to finance major expansions using the equity from their existing apartment complexes. He was willing to take on significant debt for the promise of significant growth.
Moving right along to Section 2, the Manhattan real estate mogul, high profits and public recognition. Okay, picture this. It's 1971. He takes control of the family business, renames it the Trump Organization, and sets his sights entirely on Manhattan. The strategy here was rapid, high-profile expansion. By 1980, he had transformed this unprofitable hotel near Grand Central into the glittering Grand Hyatt. And he managed to secure a massive 40-year tax abatement from the city to do it. Just 2 years later, he opened Trump Tower, a monumental $200 million complex right on Fifth Avenue. And that ambition, it definitely didn't stop at the New York City limits. By the mid to late 80s, he pushed into the highly profitable casino gambling business, opening massive properties like Trump Plaza and the Taj Mahal down in Atlantic City. By the late 1980s, his pace of acquisition was just breakneck. We're talking about proposing Television City, which was this massive dozen-skyscraper complex on Manhattan's West Side. He bought the iconic Plaza Hotel for over $400 million and then dropped another $50 million just refurbishing it. He even took to the skies, buying a shuttle service and rebranding it the Trump Shuttle. He wasn't just acquiring assets anymore. He was cementing his name as a national brand synonymous with extreme wealth. All right, Section 3, financial hurdles and reality TV. The 1990 real estate decline and a new brand. Now, that rapid ascent suddenly hit some intense turbulence. In 1990, the real estate market crashed, and it drastically reduced both the value of and the income generated from Trump's highly leveraged holdings. During this crisis, there was a really stark contrast between public perception and reality. See, Trump publicly claimed his net worth was still hovering around $1.5 billion. However, independent investigations, like one done by Forbes magazine, suggested that his heavy debt load likely brought his true net worth closer to about $500 million.
But regardless of the exact valuation, the reality on the ground was pretty dire. The Trump Organization faced a reported deficit of nearly $900 million. To prevent a total collapse of the empire, he required a massive, immediate infusion of new loans. For a lot of observers at the time, this severe financial cliff became highly symbolic of the broader economic and business excesses of the 1980s. And here's the thing, all of this corporate upheaval was playing out right alongside intense personal scrutiny. His highly publicized marriages, first to Ivana Zelnikova in 1977, then Marla Maples in 1993, and later Melania Knauss in 2005, kept his name squarely in the tabloid headlines, quite literally right next to the financial reporting on his business. But crucially, surviving this relentless daily media cycle taught him how to navigate and often manipulate intense public attention. He was basically building a kind of media armor. Ultimately, he managed to climb back financially, and in doing so, he engineered one of the most successful image reboots in modern history. In 2004, he pivoted sharply into reality television with NBC's The Apprentice. It was an instant, massive hit.
It completely transformed his image from a financially embattled New York developer into a decisive mainstream American television star. It brought his brand directly into living rooms across the country. But politics was always kind of simmering in the background, as he spent years just testing the waters. As early as 1999, he formed an exploratory committee for the 2000 presidential race, though he did withdraw shortly after a poor showing in California. By 2012, he flirted with a run again, this time gaining political traction by associating with the birther movement, which questioned President Obama's birthplace. While it was widely criticized, it proved he could capture the attention of a highly vocal, anti-establishment base. Which brings us to Section 4, the 2016 presidential campaign, from Trump Tower to frontrunner. So all of this, the real estate bravado, the media savvy, the populist testing, it all converged in 2015 when he entered a crowded field of over a dozen major Republican candidates. Launching his campaign on June 16th, right from the lobby of Trump Tower, he totally bypassed traditional political speak. With his signature bravado, he declared, "I will be the greatest jobs president that God ever created," and famously promised to make our country great again. Almost immediately, the campaign kicked up a massive media maelstrom. His initial remarks regarding Mexican immigrants actually led corporate partners like NBC and Macy's to completely sever their ties. Then, in July, he drew heavy backlash from veterans groups after saying of Senator John McCain, "I like people who weren't captured." As the campaign pushed on, protests erupted over his proposal to ban Muslim immigration and his apparent endorsement of waterboarding. Now, conventional political wisdom, it said any single one of these controversies would totally end a campaign. But the data told a completely different story. By late July 2015, national phone polls showed Trump actually taking the lead for the Republican nomination, pulling slightly ahead of establishment favorites like former Florida Governor Jeb Bush. The negative press was only amplifying his reach, and his messaging was deeply resonating with a crucial segment of the electorate. Fast forward through months of bruising debates and intense primary battles. By March 2016, he was the commanding frontrunner. The final decisive blow came in May at the Indiana primary. Trump's sweeping victory there forced his last major rival, Senator Ted Cruz, to suspend his campaign entirely. In that exact moment, Donald Trump permanently laid to rest the idea of a contested convention, officially clinching the Republican presidential nomination. Which leaves us with this final thought. How exactly did a multi-decade journey through the volatile highs of Manhattan real estate and the manufactured drama of reality television perfectly forge this ultimate political armor? It's a trajectory that didn't just win a nomination, it permanently rewrote the rules of American politics. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep questioning the history behind the headlines.